This is Graig Road. It's a sort of road that would deserve a place on the official Climbs X list. It's not a nice road, but it's a lot of fun and a good alternative to some of the more classic routes up the same climb. So this is located in North Cardiff. It's a bit of a hidden lane and you wouldn't really know it's there. Need some night mode on Google Maps to see it. The area is more known for its hiking and mountain bike trails. So the main bit of the climb is a mile at 9%, but it can kind of be split into two parts. The first few minutes are very tame, and then you have a really steep and gnarly section. And then the road pitches up and down for a further few minutes. Not many people seem to know or ride this climb, or maybe they just choose to make the considered decision not to ride it, but I think it's kind of fun. I didn't really show the start of this climb, but it's out of a residential area and it's signposted as not a through road, so you wouldn't expect it to go anywhere. Of course it's 20 miles an hour all around the bottom, then as soon as you get to the bridge it's back up to 60, so you have to be a bit wary of drivers ripping around, especially as there's a pub halfway up which supplies most of the traffic. The first few minutes here are a bit of a prologue to the real climbing bit of the climb. There's a viewpoint at the top of the section, which I often just ride up to. Viewpoint is a bit too generous of a term, as Cardiff isn't the most picturesque thing to look down on, and you haven't gone far enough to escape the cacophony of motorway traffic, but I like it in a weird way, even if it doesn't quite compare to the Côte d'Azur. So the farm is just around that corner there. This is a nice dead end to some houses, and this is a truly stunning Graig Road classic view. This section's pretty boring, so I'll just skip ahead a bit. There's a lot of quite large houses around here as well, you can tell. Watch out for them Range Rovers. This area is also prone to flooding, but that's basically the entirety of lanes in Cardiff. That's what you get for living in one of the rainiest cities in the UK. This is the fork in the road which bends round to the viewpoint if you go right, but we're going canoeing up this road on the left instead. The state of the road immediately deteriorates. Tends to be a nice barrage of mud in the middle with a few rocks and stones thrown in. And I also see rats scurrying across here on occasion. The gradients ramp up quite aggressively. I'm not entirely sure of the percentage, as GPS can be pretty fickle under all the tree covering, but it's definitely well into the double digits, made more tricky, of course, by the road surface. Sorry for these terrible breathing sounds. Usually my rear view camera doesn't pick up any of that, but this is the more realistic experience and a bit disturbing. I never did the full climb until a couple of years ago. I was actually kind of scared of it after walking down it once. These narrow lanes are quite different from anything I used to ride in California, but over the years I got more used to British roads and eventually got sick of the normal climbs and wanted to mix things up a bit more. Yeah, it's obviously not 37%. This is a bit of an extra bumpy section, but the gradient starts to ease off a lot. I would say pick your line wisely, but there's not really any good line to take through here. This was the contraption I whipped up for today's front camera, hence the poor stabilization. You can never have too many socks. This bend is pretty much the end of the bulk of the climb. There's one more little kick, but I always go really slowly down this section. You can probably hear me talking to myself and swearing at all the mud and holes in the ground. This is triple speed, which is probably a reasonable speed to actually go, but I like descending at 10 kilometers an hour, apparently. And after this little dip, you start to head towards one more kick along this road, which is an interesting bit of road, as you'll see. I never managed to take the right line around this bend. Time for a little taste of Belgium. Well, not really, but this last kick is really bumpy concrete and it's pretty slippery. I've never actually descended this on a road bike and definitely don't plan to. This shaky footage is simply horrific, but I found it quite hilarious and an accurate representation of how this section feels to ride. I think I probably lose a few brain cells riding these kind of roads, which would explain a lot. Around here the gradient drops off and the surface transitions back into something quite a lot more pleasant. Here you go past a farm, and this is the ridgeway where the hiking and mountain biking trails cross over. So the climbing's basically done. This section just rolls along now. No real ascending left, but this bit through the trees is quite cool. Hi. The bends and crests are all a bit blind, so I always go really slowly through here. Especially on this day, as I didn't want my camera or phone to get too coated in mud. Clearly worked very well. The more conventional route is to go up Rodri Road and then left at the Mine Floyd pub, but it's a bit more circuitous and less exciting. Going up this way is a bit messy, you never know quite what you'll encounter, but it's a fun roller coaster of a road if you can tolerate a few bumps. It's also a cool example of how little time it takes to escape from the urban environment of Cardiff. It's the sort of road you'd just ride past the bottom of without giving a second thought to where it might go. I'm not sure I'd go so far as to call it a hidden gem, and sometimes I majorly regret riding this way when it's particularly mucky, but I think it deserves more recognition. Well, maybe. It's kind of horrible. And here it comes out and joins Van Road. If you descend to the left, you'll reach Caerphilly. And this is a bit of a gateway to the Rodri lanes. You can go on some nice rides around here. And there you have it, another sublime road. Who needs cold airs from your doorstep when you have cold to Graig? Get me out of here.